Hi, I'm Jen from Crocheters of Awesome. You may know me from that Ravelry group as Jen2291, or maybe Hogwarts at Ravelry, or Facebook, or any number of places where we talk about crochet. I'm starting a new blog to put some of my tutorials and basic patterns together so that they're all in one place. I won't normally do videos, but sometimes, you know, a picture says 1,000 words is worth 1,000 words, something like that. And it's just faster to do it this way. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I have a couple of grown daughters who have kids of their own. That makes me grandma, cool grandma with yarny hats. But I also, because of health issues, work from home. So this is my office. I've got my computers and everything here, but I also have my shelf of good things, which some of you have heard me talk about. My artwork from my favorite artist, Casey Robin. And if you look carefully over my shoulder there, you'll see my electric eel, which is an e-spinner, so that I can spin yarn. We'll talk more about that later on. So I definitely like my fandoms. I love my crochet. Because of my health issues, I have a lot of time to crochet and a lot of time to help other people, which I love to do. So let's get started. This blog is going to be divided up into sections where I've got tutorials. Some will be videos, some will just be step-by-step photos for different techniques. Those of you familiar with the Crocheters of Awesome Ravelry group will know my study hall thread. Basically going to update and tweak some of the information in that study hall thread and kind of put it all in one place here. Also, I have a number of free patterns that are available on Ravelry. Hats, gloves, some geeky things that we can talk about later too. We'll go over all those here as well. So one of the subjects that we've been talking about in the Ravelry group is different kinds of hooks. You know, you think you go to the craft store and there's a bazillion different hooks there and they must all be the same, right? Not at all. And this is why some people can pick up one hook and say, I love this hook, and other people can pick up the same hook and say, it just doesn't work for me. So I'm going to show you a couple of things about hooks, and if you have a favorite brand, then try to think about these things next time you're shopping and see if it doesn't help you out. So here's a few of my favorite hooks. I like cheapo, regular, boy, can get them in a multi-pack. It's what I learned to crochet on. They're still my favorites. But they don't have them in really huge gauges, so I do have some of these plastic ones. I have wood hooks, I have giant hooks, I have hooks that light up. Really great if you're doing some Doctor Who things, because it looks just like a sonic screwdriver. Little bitty teeny tiny hooks that need bigger handles. And also, just really briefly, some Tunisian hooks. So Tunisian hooks come in a couple of different styles. There's the kind that you often see at the craft store that's just super, super long. It has a regular hook on one side and a stop at the other. This is an Afghan hook. So basically you're just going to, like a typewriter, go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. They also make double-ended hooks. Look, there's a hook. Oh wait, it's on this side. Oh, it's on this side. Amazing. Tunisian, again, you still, this is more for in the round, so that one end can follow the other. And we'll talk about that later too. And then finally, there's interchangeable Tunisian, which is a hook that's on a cable. So the other end of this cable, I can either put a stop, or I can put the other hook, and it can work either way, just like the other two hooks that I showed. So there's a lot of different hooks out there for different purposes. Use what works. Number one rule. But there's one thing I want to show you specifically, and this is exactly what we were talking about. Did you know that crochet hooks are either offset or inline? I know. That term doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but I'm going to show you what it means. So first of all, we're going to grab my trusty boy hook here. And it's an offset hook. And you can tell because when you line up the shaft of the hook, not the finger, not that center of the handle, what's that called? But the actual shaft of the hook, you can see that the head of the hook is actually splits that line right down the middle. The hook is tapered on the back end, which is the top in this picture, and actually protrudes out from that line on the bottom. And so the mouth of it is really big and wide open. Offset. But here's an example of inline. So inline means that the hook is made from a cylinder. Let's see if I can line that up just right. There we go. So when you put it on that line, see how the end, the head of the hook is actually in line with the rest of the shaft. So on both the bottom and the top edges, it matches the line of the shaft exactly. So take another quick look at that. This is inline, and I'll show you offset one more time, just so you can compare now that you know what we're looking at. So offset, that line goes right down through the center, and if I move it down this way, you can see how the head actually tapers away from that line. Inline versus offset, who knew? Well, the catch is that when you're crocheting, depending on your grip, sometimes having it inline or offset helps. It either helps with what you're doing or hinders you. It either snags the yarn or creates big holes in your stitches. There are a number of different things. So let me show you one other thing to look at between the difference inline and offset. I don't know if you can really see that well, but the offset hook is actually very pointed here and narrow. The inline hook is actually very much the same shape as that shaft. And if you look at them from the back, it's even more obvious how tapered that offset hook is. So that can make a difference in how you crochet. The other thing that's important to pay attention is how you hold your hook. Are you a pencil gripper or a knife gripper? So pencil grippers hold their hook like a pencil, like this. This is how it looks like from the outside. And so when a pencil gripper crochets, it's more like this. A knife grip is when your hand is between your eye and the hook. And so they will normally do more of a knife motion, in like this, out, in, out. It would be helpful if I could do this in a way that you can see. Pencil grippers, the hook is between the eye and the hand. Knife, the hand is between the eye and the hook. And let me show you that from the other side. All right, so here's a pencil grip. You notice I have my hook between my eye and my hand, or the camera in my hand, as the case may be. And I'm holding the fabric with my outer fingers and just letting my yarn droop over this finger. I have a simple single crochet sample here. So in this case, my fingers are doing all the work, just like if you had a pencil in your hand. You use your fingers to move it. However, if I was going to use a knife grip, my hand would be between my eye and the hook, and the motion is just a little bit different. The stitches are exactly the same, and I'm out of practice, so I'm not very smooth at this, but if you were a knife gripper, you would be much faster than me. And your hand and your wrist is a little bit more involved, and the fingers maybe not so much. But don't let my inability to do it fool you. Knife grippers can move really quickly when they're in practice. So again, pencil is like this. It's more control with the fingers. Knife is like this, and it usually uses the entire hand to control that hook. Hope that helps. Fascinating stuff, right? So pay attention to how you hold the hook. It doesn't matter either way. Whatever you learned is probably most comfortable for you. That's totally okay. Decide what brand of hook you like, figure out if it's inline or offset, and keep that in mind next time you look for hooks. And if you can keep those two things in mind, I guarantee you that you'll enjoy crochet. And I'll be back with more tutorials and patterns as the weeks progress. If you have any questions, you can either leave a comment here on the blog or find me on Ravelry. I'm Jen2291, or again, look for my group there in the forums. It's called Crocheters of Awesome, and I hope to see you there. Bye.